Admit the first time I went up to Ron's part of the world, which I've coined Boogeyman Land, I was frightened to return. I made excuses for a couple of weeks not to go back up there, but I finally manned up and I went up there and faced what was going on. And what we found were generational issues with this family and Ron and his grandparents going back to when they'd bought in that property after World War II. Dogmen, as you will. Now, once again, everyone would like to have a convenient explanation for an upright walking canine. And I want to remind you that you've got 20 different possibilities at any given time, whereas with our research with the Skinwalkers on the Navajo Nation, it could have been someone you sat next to in church or Sunday school at 9 o'clock in the morning, and 9 o'clock at night they turn into something horrific, as in the weir or the werewolf. Once again, they are human part of the time. I'm thinking potentially, possibly, at least in this case, the two subjects we're going to be talking about and discussing are dogmen all of the time.
Way up north. Way up north. So this is actually Monster Central as far as I'm concerned, and it's so fascinating. We've got this big field here, seems to be like the neutral territory, and the canine things stay over on this side, and the furry people stay over on this side, and it's like you're in the middle. You know, it's like this is the boundary right here. We get approached on that side by Sasquatch, and we get approached on this side by Dogmen. Crazy. But I'm seeing it. I'm here. I'm living it. So it isn't crazy. And you've been living here all these years.
It's there's some tension in this area between the two different sides. And it's definite activity. You see it. I've seen plenty of it. And they're here. So you got dogmen on this side, furry folk on this side. It makes life interesting.
It's been interesting, and you know they're just they've been really soft. You know, if they wanted to run me out of here because I'm camping your property, if they wanted to run me out of here, they would have run me out already. So we'll just keep trying for better photos. That's about if only for our own self-satisfaction. We'll get some better photos. We got some interesting stuff. I want better stuff. I want better photos.
Yep, vocalizations, knocks, growls. We found interesting infrasound by accident last night. That was pretty curious. And
you could see the liquid in the cup vibrate.
You could feel it. It's almost like a speaker effect. The liquid in the plastic glass was picking up the infrasound, and it felt like the glass was humming in my hand. And
they got to get pretty close to throw that stuff out. So
yeah,
imagine something was very close.
They've been bribing and trying to tame my dogs down, which is kind of disappointing. Defeats the purpose of having the big dogs, but they're not hurting them.
Ah, and they're feeding them.
Yep, they're feeding them.
Cutting back on your feed bill for the dogs, but
cutting way down. Yeah.
But that's in preparation for something. Just realize that. I don't think there's any freebies out here. There's no animal welfare going on with these guys. They're prepping your dogs for something.
Yeah.
If anything, to cross the property without being harassed, or be in the area without being harassed, because your dogs are getting treats.
Yep.
They're getting treats from the woods over here.
Yep. The old boy is resisting, but the two younger ones are definitely getting handouts.
They're totally in. They're bought and paid for.
Yep, they're paid off.
Yeah.
I was coming back, I was walking in this way. I stopped here, kind of got whipped by it, like something was watching me, and around this tree right up in here. Just kind of crouched down in the bush.
So you got to see a hand. 5 fingers, opposable thumb.
I just seen it before.
Okay, because it had it. Okay.
Yeah. So then it kind of, when it perked up, I kind of stood up. And I'm like, that's not a fucking bear. So I got the bug spray. I didn't have anything else with me. So I gave it a squirt in the lighter. And then it ducked down, looking this way. It hit all fours. All this foliage wasn't here. So that bounced. Bounced. Kind of got up with this. That took 2 other bounces. Kind of climbed on that one tree, then hit that leaning one. About halfway up.
Oh, that's the tree he ran up.
Yeah, it went up
Oh,
like that.
crap. You were telling me about that.
Then it dropped down, it was gone. I'm like,
Wow.
that's not a bear. So I,
Bears don't have hands.
yeah, and they don't have big pointy ears.
They don't have
snout
big
either.
pointy ears.
Well, then
I'd say you saw a dogman, bro.
yeah, and I think that was a black one with a white tufted
Okay, so
chest.
that'd be the female.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it was more petite, but it was taller. Had a pointer head, kind of like Gunter.
Okay.
Well, then I was like, fuck, so I was getting out of here and watching this. I turned around, and the brown one was standing down the trail there. And I gave another burst with the bug spray and the lighter, and it put its ears back, and it was gone. Well, then I had my 4-wheeler parked over about where the truck was, and I heard that smack, heard him hit that. When I got back, and that's where all everything in the box and the 4-wheeler was thrown out.
This is where we found the prints then?
Yeah. I was up picking morels, and I picked that area over here, so then I came through this mud hole we just walked across, and the water was just going down from the spring. And this area was all torn up from all the people coming through, 4-wheeler and off-roading, but it was just after rain, so the mud was nice and clear, and the only tracks coming in with the ATV was my Rhino, side by side. Had the big mudders on there, the tracks. Track from the Rhinos were probably about that wide, but right in the middle, after I'd walked back this area looking for morels, I came back, and right in the tracks of the Rhino were big wolf tracks, about
And they were bipedal.
bipedal, yeah.
Okay.
And it was, 1, 2, 3 that stepped up in here. But it had come and rummaged through the back of my ATV.
Yeah, and it took your pudding and what else?
Took some pudding, bit a hole in a can of beer, threw some mushrooms out on the ground that I picked, and rummaged through my toolbox. And you can see where it grabbed on the roll cage, and it looked like muddy handprints.
Yeah.
But it looked like the fingers were probably only that long, so I'm figuring the rest of it must have been claw.
Yeah.
So it I didn't get a look at that one, but that's, you got that really uneasy feeling, really tightness up the back of your neck, and felt like just the stress from it.
We just had a huge wood pop back there.
Back in there, without it.
Wonder who else is paying us a visit today.
Cow shit, so kind of interesting pattern as far as hunting. It's kind of lazy, just kind of stays down. Apparently it can conceal its scent pretty well. It's laid out in that grass that comes about 3.5 to 4 feet high, just off the game trail. Noticed another game trail that led into the other property just to the west, and standard width, gets up to the fence, and it's four pieces of barbed wire running across. So there's nothing that's either not going to jump over it or just plain old step over it. That isn't going to give you that fence. So tracked that, didn't see any deer shit anywhere on that spot, so it indicated to me it was a different animal. But didn't pursue any of the property because I'm not supposed to go there. Had lunch in a spot, saw a big stained piss, probably from today, looked like earlier. Decided to have lunch there and get some food, put out the scent. Took off my jacket so I can put my scent out there. skirted that entire green belt and didn't find anything. So it's either it was hiding out or it wasn't there to begin with.
There's definitely something here today at one point.
Well, yeah, I mean, just up on the corner, I got some pictures of pretty good sized toe prints. They're not from any time recent. So I'd say 3 or 4 days, probably the last time we had major rain.
Okay.
But toe prints pretty much indicated feet planted into the ground and then faced out on the game trail, just kind of more or less observing. Didn't pick anything else up because the next steps that were taken were in the thick grass. There's an area of depression, but it leads up to the game trail. So,
gotcha.
But walked this tree line, walked through the center, cut it out, and came up on the spot you guys had set up. And, well, I didn't see it from prior, so I don't know what was supposed to be there. But same thing going with the mushrooms up there on the corner. A lot of them have been picked out, and a large one was tasted, didn't like the taste, so left the rest of the mushroom. That's pretty much what I got today.
Gotcha. This is part of the Front Range then, and this green belt goes all the way back to the friggin' Front Range. And this is very near where the sighting was.
Yeah, what most people don't realize about Denver is that it's very common for us to have what are called green belts, which are wide open wilderness spaces that literally go all the way from the front mountain range, or what they call the Front Range, literally all the way downtown. And you can ride a bike on some of these trails from the front mountain range all the way to downtown Denver, and there's quite a bit of wildlife that use these green belts as highways. And as I was telling JC earlier, I had an experience while working for a security company in the middle of Denver where I came out one evening working a graveyard shift at about 1 a.m. and witnessed a giant buck with a huge rack with 2 does walking right down one of the busiest streets in all of Denver, and they obviously got there via the green belt that was nearby. And we believe it's possible that the creature in question that was seen by the eyewitness could have traveled these green belts in much the same way as other wildlife does. The neighborhood where the sighting took place is not far from this green belt location.
No, it's very interesting, very much so.
Hey guys, it's Jesus Jr. here, and I'm going to talk about the Dogman and what I think about the Dogman. So, do I think the Dogman is a real thing? Do I think it's an imagination, a situation by people that don't know what they're looking at? No, I think there's something to the Dogman. Too many people for hundreds of years have, thousands actually, have described Dogmen up to current days. With lots of reports, there's pictures. There's something out there that's bipedal, real tall, and looks like a dog. That's weird. Also, could be described as a werewolf. In Native American culture, the Skinwalker. For a while I thought possibly it was Sasquatch being misidentified, because some of them do have a larger snout. They run on all fours. They howl at the moon. So I thought, Dogman's just a Bigfoot. But I don't think that's the case anymore. The reason why I say that is because I had my own encounter, my own sighting, and it was real. I was right here where I'm sitting now, and that night me and my nephew, we were driving home, and we had to stop in the middle of the road because there was about a 3-foot tall white barn owl just sitting there staring at us. And yeah, later that night I saw what looked like a dogman run by the bush right here, right next to us. So I say, yeah, I think Dogman's real.
Hi, this is Jane Rodriguez, and I want to talk to you today about the dog people, the upright walking canines of northern Minnesota. J.C. Johnson and Ron Shaw are having frequent encounters with these beasts that walk on 2 legs, have snouts of dogs, arms of man, and not all of them are male, some of them are female. And Ron Shaw's family has lived on that property since his grandfather bought the property after World War II. And ever since he did buy the property around World War II, after the war, he noticed strange things around the woods. He was hired by the DNR to trap animals, and in the traps he would notice, him and his wife, Ron's grandmother, would notice the carcasses are torn asunder, torn apart. Sometimes they're just gone out of these traps. Sometimes they're, mutilated, but rips with strength. Something that suggests that whatever did this has 2 hands, has dexterity, and then the strength to get them out of the traps, which is no small feat. So naturally this causes alarm for Ron Shaw's family, and over the years they do have encounters with a family of dog people, and this family of dog people are breeding. And I mean, this is the suggestion collected, that's been noted by the collected evidence of JC and Ron Shaw. They feel that they're encountering now the offspring of the matriarch of what Ron Shaw's grandparents once encountered. You follow me? So this is a whole lineage situation, and this kind of points to these creatures are breeding. They have families, and they stick to a certain terrain. So another thing to think about when you're thinking about this story later is that when people see them, they describe the bodies of these creatures as being very muscular. You've got 6-pack abs and bulging biceps and just strong neck muscles and a lot of upper body strength. The dog had. These are human arms and a human-looking chest, with fur and a dog head and legs that are canid, but walking on hind legs. It's very unusual. So obviously, it's a frightening thing to experience with your family over a course of generations. So now that when they go into the forest around there, they have these encounters. Ron Shaw, he was scared a couple years ago to the point where he wanted to make a makeshift torch out of insect spray, hornet spray, and it worked. So, he made a pact with the forest at some point and said, yeah, I'm not going to hunt anymore in here. I'll leave you alone. Hopefully you'll leave me alone. And that's generally what's been the case. The activity has decreased somewhat. Although when JC comes around, for some reason, the activity does. They like to show off to JC, I think. But anyway, just a heads up, when you're in the woods, you never know what you're going to see or come across. Keep your eyes down, look for some tracks, keep your eyes all around. Be aware of your surroundings at all times. Take care.